it's Jessica from the Literacy Loft, and today is Writing Wednesday. Hopefully when you're watching this, if it's another day, it's okay. You can write other days besides Wednesday. So this is the second video in a series of the 5 C's of teaching writing with confidence. In this series, we're talking about actionable strategies that you can put in place inside your classroom any time of year so that you are teaching writing with confidence. So this is a video for you if you are already confident in writing, but you just want to continue to grow and develop as a writing teacher. This is the right video for you if you are not comfortable teaching writing and you want to grow and get better as a writing teacher. So if you have not caught the first video, make sure you go back and watch the first video. I'll make sure that I link to it below. The first video kind of introduced the 5 C's, and we went into the first C, which was confidence. So this video today, we are going to talk about community, which is the second C in teaching writing with confidence. Building a writing community is an essential part of your writing workshop because without a community, you're going to be driving an uphill battle all year long. You're not going to feel good about teaching writing. Your students aren't going to feel good as writers, and it just doesn't create that environment where you feel comfortable and safe to share things. So humans are social creatures. We know that. I mean, there's like social media is like the biggest thing in the world because we like to connect with other people. So we learn by sharing and listening to others as humans, as adults. Creating a community which helps students feel safe, supported, and engaged will ultimately lead to their growth as writers. So to create a community where students feel that way, I've got 4 things that you can do. So with each C, there's 4 actionable tips. So tip 1 is establish writing partners. Setting up writing partners is really important to building a writing community because students will feel like they have at least one person that they can share their writing with. They feel comfortable talking about writing and talking about different writing strategies you might be teaching. They feel comfortable sharing their writing and thinking about their writing, about whatever you're teaching, thinking about ways that and talking about ways that they might add that into their writing. So having that one person helps them feel a little bit safer inside your writing workshop. The second tip is sharing student writing. When you share student writing before the mini lesson or after the lesson, that helps students feel like they are part of your teaching. They're part of a writing community. It's not that you're just standing at the front of the room and sharing all of your writing or sharing writing out of books or just telling them what they need to write. They're part of the process. And sharing student writing doesn't have to be like this big thing. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes of your day. You could start the mini lesson with just a couple, maybe sharing like one piece of writing that you noticed a student was doing really well, or maybe you notice a student that's already doing whatever it is that you're teaching and you share their writing and just say, hey, I just want to share Alyssa's writing because I really want you to notice what a wonderful introduction she has in her essay. As writers, it's really important that we grab our readers' attention right away. And it's simple as that. Just acknowledging that there's good writing happening inside your classroom. So you probably don't have time to do this every single day, but also using the last 1 to 5 minutes of the lesson to have students come back with their partnership and just share what they did in writing that day. So maybe you taught a lesson, going back to that introduction example, maybe you taught a lesson on introductions. And so you had students work on their introductions during independent writing. And so the last 1 to 5 minutes, they just come back with their writing partner and just sit knee to knee, eye to eye, and share what the kind of introduction they came up with. One easy way to think about this too, because you also want to share your writing, we talked about that in the first video, is that you could begin each lesson with sharing your writing. So you're sharing an example of whatever it is you're teaching that day, And then at the end of the lesson, students can share what they did with their writing partner. So that's just a few minutes. It's not this long sharing process. It's just a few minutes. But by taking each day, just taking that small amount of time to share your writing, share their writing, kind of create a sandwich with it, then it's building that community of we're all writers. And that's really important when you're teaching writing. So this leads me to tip 3 is also celebrating student writing. So yes, sharing student writing throughout the unit or throughout every day and throughout the lessons is important, but also like when you end a huge unit or mini unit or small unit, whatever it is that you're doing, take the time to celebrate student writing. It doesn't have to be this huge big thing, but it could. But celebration for student writing is ongoing. So at the bare minimum, you might celebrate student writing like once a quarter. Maybe you work on a narrative writing unit. At the end of your narrative writing unit, definitely take some time to celebrate. It doesn't have to take up your whole class time. It doesn't have to take a writing block or ELA block. It doesn't have to take up the whole thing, but just taking the time to have students celebrate all of the hard work that they did in that unit. It really just builds that community of we worked really hard on this, and now we're going to celebrate and share our completed writing with others. So one of the things that I like to teach my students is that we do snaps for smart thinking. And I did not make that up. I learned it from an amazing writing coach that I had at my school, and I absolutely love it. And we used it throughout all subject areas, math, science, reading, everything. But it's especially awesome with writing. So when we hear like really good writing, or we notice something that somebody did really well, we'll do snaps for smart thinking. And it's just really cute. The kids get into it and have their cheesy faces on, and they're snapping for smart thinking. So that's something that you can definitely do on those days when you maybe you end the lesson. Maybe you don't have students come back together to share their writing with a writing partner. Maybe at the end of the lesson, you say, boys and girls, I really want to share the great conclusion or the great way that Kyle used transition words throughout his essay. This line right here is so clever. Whatever it is you want to share. And you share it out loud. You read it. And of course, what's Kyle going to do? Oh my gosh, he's sharing my writing. And he's going to think he's like the best thing since sliced bread. And not only that, like the other students in the classroom are like, oh wow, Kyle, that's awesome. You did a great job. And that's just building that feel good feeling that you want students to feel when they're writing. And that's how you want to feel when you're teaching writing. You want to feel good about it. You want to feel like you're doing something amazing. And because you are. When you're teaching writing, you're doing something amazing. So the last tip, tip 4, is to display student writing. So wall space may be an obstacle, but there should be a home or space or somewhere in your classroom or hallway that you display student writing. Writing takes bravery. And when we showcase writing, we are sending them a message that what they have to say matters. Even though they're 8 years old, 9 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, what they have to say matters. And the thought and the effort that took to create that piece of writing, it matters. And that also communicates that they matter. So having a place to showcase student writing is definitely going to help build your writing community. It definitely just depends on your wall space and the way that your classroom set up, the way that your school set up, but definitely creating that space in your classroom. One reason I think this is so important, because yes, like we want to showcase student work in general, whether they're doing math, reading, projects, etc. But writing takes a certain boldness and bravery. You are putting your thoughts and ideas out into the world for people to judge and critique and read and correct you. Even as adults, it takes boldness and bravery. Even when you're writing a simple email sometimes. How many times do you read that over and ask a colleague, does this look okay? Does this sound okay? I want to make sure I'm professional. Because you're communicating. You're putting your thoughts, ideas, and feelings out into the world. So when
you do that, and when they're working so hard to do this, you want to celebrate that by displaying their student writing. So all of these things kind of fit together, but it just helps you build a writing community in your classroom. So that's it for building a community. If you have any questions about some of the tips that I gave or ways that you can add these inside your classroom, I would love to hear them. Please feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me at jessica@theliteracyloft.com. I love supporting teachers like you, especially when it comes to teaching writing, and I hope you have an awesome week. Talk to you soon.